It's time for Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz, the show that helps you be prepared to care for your family regardless of the circumstances that may come your way. Now, here's your host for today, Mark Lamb.
Well, we're in the studio with Glenn Boblitz again, and gosh, we're just a couple of weeks away from Thanksgiving, or actually a week by the time this thing hits.
Thanksgiving, what's that? I mean, I thought that was like something in the past because everything I see says it's Christmas.
Yeah, I know.
God, that's irritating.
I know.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no. Well, here's the good thing is they're sort of, even our president is gauging how well the economy is on how much it costs to buy all the fixins at Walmart for Thanksgiving. He says it's actually down this year, which is a sign that inflation has sort of turned a little bit of a corner.
Yeah, I do see some things coming down, and that's a good thing, but it's going to be a while, folks.
Yeah, it's still not.
If you want something good, you're going to have to work for it, wait for it. So a little patience here, folks.
Yeah.
And, people have pretty much run out of patience.
I think you're right there.
There's a whole lot of stories out there and news that you go, just get it done.
Right.
Just get it done.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that ain't how it works. If you want something good, you're going to have to work at it.
Yeah.
And make sure it's good before you put it together. That's what's happening, folks.
Yeah.
Is he perfect? No, but he's our guy.
Yeah.
Would you rather have somebody else?
Right now, I don't think I would.
No, absolutely not.
He's getting some things done.
He's getting some things done. All right, we've done this in the past, and and I'm gonna come back to it just for your own sake to see if you've paid attention and actually done any of these things. And this is the pop quiz here.
Okay.
And it's right off. I'm gonna pretty much read off what I've already done. But this is different time, different people, and we're going to see if you're actually moving forward, getting it done.
Right.
So, pop quiz.
All right.
How good are your door locks? We talked about this. And the reason I say this is break-ins are increasing.
Right.
What's not good is I said that on the same pop quiz. Mm-hmm. So they've increased even more since then.
Wow.
So, folks, hard times make people do hard things.
They do.
So you need to protect your home. I seen the local sheriff's department put up a big sign. It says, "Lock it up." Have you seen that one?
I have not.
And it shows your house, your weapons, and your cars.
Okay.
Keep them all locked up.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because the boogeyman is out there. So how good are your door locks? If you look at that, you'll notice there's only about 3/4 of an inch piece of wood between where the door stops and the door itself.
That's why they're able to kick them in so easily.
Yeah, a big-footed man could kick a door in like that. Deadbolts. Now, a deadbolt goes a little deeper in.
Right.
Usually has a metal plate around
Yes.
it. Well, now they have a bar that goes across all those holes. Much thicker steel. You can't slide a credit card in it to jimmy the door.
Right.
Hard to pick a deadbolt lock, especially, a quality one. Mm-hmm. So if you need to upgrade, you might want to think about it. They were not built quite as heavy as they should have been. Mm-hmm. Now that you can get a good heavy lock. And with this new bar attachment, it goes right on your door jamb. Mm-hmm. That makes the door jamb itself much harder
more
to
rigid.
kick in. Right.
Gotcha.
Most likely that's the place that gets blowed out when someone wants to kick it in or hammered. I don't care how they did it, but thieves tend to be pretty brutal when it comes to this kind of stuff. They want in and out fast. Right. They don't want to make a bunch of noise. So make it difficult.
Draw attention.
Yeah, make it difficult. Don't make it easy. Make it difficult. Do you have a security system yet? Even if it's just a simple driveway alarm to let you know that someone's coming in your driveway or someone's walking around your house. These driveway alarms can pick up a car or a person. If they're hooked to security lights, even better. So you might want to look at your security systems. If you can plug in a lamp, you can plug in these new security systems. Most of them are wireless. How good is that? I mean, back in the day, I used to have to run wires all through an attic to get a little camera out there. It's not like that anymore, and they're far cheaper than they used to be.
Yeah.
So you can get a little 5-camera system for about $200.
Yeah.
You can get them where they give you alerts on your phone. Of course, you have to, buy the little app. But okay, what's that peace of mind for you when you're not there at the house?
Sure.
The Ring doorbell, of course, that's an option. But there's lots of options out there. So, let's secure your home, your domicile, your castle. Back to lighting. I've seen a lot more porch lighting and corners of the house, that kind of lighting, having photocells and motion sensors built into them.
Right.
Before you had to actually add that system into it. It was a little $30 device that you just added to your light. Well, it's a pain in the butt. You got to wire it all in. But now they come all in one, and they're fairly inexpensive. But I'm telling you, the booger man don't like to be in the light.
No, he doesn't.
So
you're right there.
And that includes your neighbor's dog, raccoon, foxes. If you got a little farmstead, you always time worry about little wild critters coming in to get your chickens. Okay, well, that will help. And if nothing else, it'll give you a chance to get your 22 sighted in on it, which I've had to do in the past couple of years to keep the foxes out of my chicken house.
Sure.
What's crazy is I've killed 6 foxes.
Really?
6 foxes.
Wow.
Over the past 5 years, 6 foxes. One of them I had to kill with a sledgehammer because he bit me in the butt. That's
Lord.
That's the one that had rabies.
Yeah. I remember that story.
And the rabies is still out there, folks.
Yeah.
So just a little sidebar. If that lighting that you have suddenly doesn't work because power went out, storm, whatever, pick your threat. Could you handle a week without that power? That'd be tough to do, wouldn't it?
Sure.
How about 2 weeks? Now we're pushing on people's nerves. Make sure you have enough water. Just I'm not talking about buying $4,000 worth of stored food here, folks. I'm talking about just plain old water.
Well, I mean, look at all these Patriot Supply. You got to have water to prepare those meals.
All of them. There's a lot of things you can do without.
Right.
Water's not one of them.
Right.
And it'll make you leave your home, which is probably not a good idea, especially if you got 2 feet of snow out there. Then what are you going to do?
Right.
Because everybody else is going to be out of it too, and that's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
So having that water is critical for you. If there's one prepper item I tell everybody to get, it's not the security camera. It's always water. Always have that.
Yeah.
That's your starting point.
Yep.
So
makes sense.
Water.
Can you tell us because this is a reminder for me. You see that water jug that I have in our studio here. I'm using that for various things, but that particular plastic, it's the thin plastic. That is not good for long term.
No. Those kind of jugs were set up for you to use it within a couple months, but it's better than nothing. A bottle of water, it's better than nothing. A mud puddle's better than nothing. I wouldn't suggest it, but if that's all you had, then you're going to have to filter and boil it and all that kind of stuff.
And this is the one, because you can't see it, it's radio, it's a podcast. This is the kind where I literally could put my finger, not through it, but indentation, very easy, not the solid plastic, which is a better long-term
Correct.
thing.
if you're going to store water long term for a 2-week outage, do the math. You got 4 people in the house times a gallon each day for each person. So that's 4 gallons, times 2 weeks, 14 days, do the math here. That's quite a large amount of water. Go get you one of these food grade barrels and fill it up.
Right.
55 gallons. Because you may be supplying water for maybe your neighbor, your mother, your kids, whatever it is.
Sure.
But if you've got that water and they do not, you will be the hero. So that water is not going to stay good forever unless you make sure you've treated it.
Right.
A quarter cup of bleach. When I say bleach, I don't mean the kind with the flowers on the bottle.
Right.
Or your water's going to taste like flowers, which is a chemical that you do not want. Just straight bleach, regular household bleach. Quarter cup in 55 gallons, and it'll last up to 2 years or more. And how do I know that? Because I did the test. I did the microscope slide at year 1, at year 2, and still clean as a pin and tasted good.
Wow.
So I'm just telling you, water, water, water.
Yeah.
So get on it. What if it was more than 2 weeks? Now we're into the food category. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm just asking you, could you do a month? If you're going to do a month without food, so is everybody else. They are not going to have that.
Right.
The statistics are 97% of the people only have 2 weeks of food. So what happens when these people are going to run out of food? They become desperate.
Right.
And they're going to go out looking for food. By that time, I would say our local government is going to have to step in, because the easy solution for some of the more nefarious people is to steal it, to break in somewhere, whether it's the local convenience store, the food line, or your house. If they know that your lights are on in your house because you're running a generator, they're going, well, this guy's probably prepared. He probably has food. And they're not going to come ask for it politely. That's an ugly thing to think about, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of ugly people out there. If you don't believe me, watch the news.
Sure.
If you can call it that. We're not addressing how vulnerable we are. Food security wise, water security wise, grid security wise. Our electrical grid is vulnerable, and I don't want you to suffer because of that vulnerability.
If you want to know what he's talking about, go to our last podcast, because Glenn mentioned 5 particular transfer area or transformers, or not transformers, but stations, transformer stations. If the right 5 were knocked out, it could kill the majority of the grid. That's how vulnerable. It would
cascade the grid.
Right.
And they know that, and they've stepped up to make some protections for that. I'm not going to tell you all about it, because
if you don't think the Chinese and the Russians know that, buddy, you're not.
Well, yeah. You could take any threat that you know about and elevate it and double the number times 2 for the stuff you don't know.
Right.
So there you are. The whole world seems to be up in arms over something.
Right.
And I don't mean just a little angry. I mean hundreds of thousands of people mobbing their capital. Something's going on.
Yeah.
We've just had enough.
Yeah.
And it makes certain people just really nervous. Me being one of them.
Yeah.
Because it's just one news broadcast away from, crap hitting the fan.
Right.
I don't want to be out in the crap.
Right.
If you want to survive it, don't get out in the chaos. Don't make yourself so vulnerable that you have to go out into the chaos, because you won't be ready for it. I'm just saying, when people get that desperate, bad things happen.
Right.
So just work it out to you don't have to be out there.
Right.
And that barrel of water is a good darn start. And it's easy, folks. It's easy. Clean barrel, 55 gallons of water, 30 days worth of food. That's that's pretty expensive. Coming down a little bit, but not enough.
Right. Sure.
If I had to tell some housewife, okay, tomorrow I need you to go buy 30 days of food for your entire family, she's going to say, I don't have it in my budget to do that.
Right.
Well, then you're going to have to do it one can at a time, one item at a time.
Yep.
And that's what's going to happen. And if you're smart, that's exactly what you'll do.
Right.
Now, if you have the means to buy all 30 days worth at one time, God bless you.
Good for you, yeah.
Help somebody else out. Make sure the rest of your family is. Because we're just not prepared. We're not prepared for anything. Right. In the Depression, everybody kind of helped everybody. I was blessed with my parents who went through it, who made sure that it didn't ever happen again where you suffered hunger.
Right.
If you've ever been hungry, you won't forget it. Now, you might think you got a little hungry one afternoon. That's not the same.
Right.
Hunger is pain, I'll just tell you. And been there, done that.
Right.
Hunger is pain. It is not like you think. So don't let your family suffer that when you could do something about it. That was kind of dark, but
That's
it's a dark subject. It's reality. I don't want that reality to come down on you like a ton of bricks. All right. We talked about how much water to store. Can you last 3 weeks or a month? How would you feel locked up for a month in your house or alone?
Right.
That is not good. World War II proved one thing about being alone and isolated. The one thing that they all kind of said together was what kind of kept their sanity out there in the dark, in a trench, waiting for somebody to shoot at you, was a candle.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
It's the light.
Wow.
It's the light. It's something about that light that changes your outlook.
Yeah.
It makes you feel safe again.
Right.
So if you don't have any power out there, folks, and you got one candle, you can't believe the psychological help that is. So having lights that don't depend on the grid is pretty darn important. A lot of them are going to have to deal with fire. The fire from a lantern, a kerosene lantern, the old hurricane lamps, or candles or anything like that. Anytime you bring fire into your house, you better darn sure make sure it's going to stay safe. Candles drip wax, run out over to your coffee table, and you knock a candle over, now your coffee table's on fire. Yeah. So that's why they put a little saucer of water out, set the candle in the middle.
Okay.
So, there's a safety issue with lighting. Now, if you got batteries, and that's going to be the first line of defense. You have a flashlight with a LED because it doesn't eat up your batteries as fast.
Right.
Use it sparingly. They even have fake candles, LEDs, that it just puts a glow on your table. That's good enough. If
that's so simple.
And that is so simple and cheap.
Right.
Now, kids don't understand everything. Once you get about 10-year-old, they figure it out, and they can understand what dad and mom is telling them.
Right.
But a small child, 3 to 4 years old, in the dark, it is not a good feeling. And kids can read your face. And if you have that look of fear on your face because you're in the dark waving a flashlight around, they're going to pick that up.
Sure.
So having that little digital candle or electronic candle,
right,
may be their saving grace. It'll definitely be yours.
Yeah.
Because if not, that child is going to be hard to deal with.
Can I tell you something about candles just real quick? Because it happened this past weekend. We had one of those fancy candles that has 3 wicks, and the one wick kept failing. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to try something because I see all those wooden, they're like a flat 1/4 inch wide by 1/16 of an inch candles now with that's the wick.
Yes.
I thought just dip a toothpick into the wax a little bit and then snap it off to about 1 inch long. I stuck that down in there, had some wax on it. boom. That thing not only lit up, it stayed lit the whole time the others were going on.
Go,
and I
MacGyver.
Thought, I just thought, why wouldn't a toothpick work? And it did.
Well, here's what happens is that the flame actually melts the wax.
Mm-hmm.
The toothpick acts like a wick and absorbs the wax.
Mm-hmm.
The flame on top of that you finally got lit is actually just burning wax. It's not burning the toothpick.
Right.
So that's how that works.
Yeah.
Now they use the cotton core because it absorbs much faster, but
right.
You're right. In World War II, they used cardboard.
Really?
Yeah.
For a wick? I did not.
And not only for just lighting. Can you imagine being out there? You're not going to get too many hot meals while fighting on the front lines.
Mm-hmm.
So they would save their sea ration cans, cut cardboard into strips, and put any kind of fat, oil, wax, whatever they could, soak it. That was their stove.
Really? Oh my
There are
gosh.
so many pictures of them cooking on these little can stoves, like a Sterno can.
Right.
They made a field expedient Sterno can.
Wow.
So there's a lot of good knowledge from our past. As long as we're smart enough to learn from it. Mm-hmm. Boy, there's a whole lesson in itself.
Right there.
Yep.
The old ways.
We've struggled for a long time. Our nation has, and we've always made it through, just through tenacity and people sharing
Sure.
knowledge and resources.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to run into this pretty quickly. You're going to find out that you can't make it as an island.
Right.
Yeah, I say this a lot. You need other people.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you are some whiz-bang survivalist, you're going to need other people.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a hole in your plan somewhere. I've been doing this for decades now.
Right.
And I still have holes in my plan.
Sure.
Because I can't sew myself up if I have an injury. I've thought about that. How do I sew myself up one-handed? It's real hard to do.
Yeah.
So
looks good in a movie, but that's not realistic.
So I need to find some doctor or really good nurse and befriend her,
right,
and be a resource for her. Now, if her generator don't start, I'm your guy. Right. So that's what I'm after here, folks.
Right.
There's a lot of crap that's going to happen, and I'm not talking about war, necessarily. I'm just talking about crap happens.
Well, I mean, natural
Storms.
disasters. Again, we keep turning back to the North Carolina. They're still in tough shape down there in Black Mountain.
Yeah, there's a political side to that we won't get into, but it's just so devastating when a town gets wiped away, and that's what happened. And I forgot what the name of the little town is now, which I'm ashamed of, but it took the town away. Mm-hmm. It was just concrete slabs left.
Yeah.
That's how fast things happen. Mm-hmm. Right down in Thaxton, when that hurricane come through, who would have thought that it would 2 miles from my house, a hurricane through and devastated this little neighborhood.
Right.
And when I say devastated, I mean it's like a meat grinder down there. Mm-hmm. Big trees went down.
Right.
Houses blew up. It was bad. So don't think it doesn't happen.
Right.
And what's bad that I see is it's increasing. Mm-hmm. You can open your good book and go, it's going to get bad.
Right.
Storms are going to get bad. It tells you so. Mm-hmm. And ta-da, here we are.
Here we are.
So being prepared for them just seems smart to me. Could you deal with being alone for 3 or 4 days, then a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Mm-hmm. You'll go stir crazy if you ain't careful.
Yeah.
If you're living way out in the country, actually you're probably better off because walking to a neighbor's wouldn't be that dangerous. Mm-hmm. You live downtown Lynchburg, there's going to be other people out there
Right.
that are already dangerous, and now they're desperate and dangerous,
Right.
and that's a bad place to be. You don't want to be in front of those people.
Exactly.
Because everybody will be a target. God, it's so dark, but daggone it, people are just have their heads in their sand. They're just not paying attention.
Right.
Just look around the world. Crap is happening. But we're going to get you through it. What is your plan for having backup power, maybe? At least for the first 2 weeks, maybe a month, depending on how much fuel you have. Do you know how to store your fuel for that generator?
Right.
I'd keep it locked up for sure, because probably no
I think
one else has it.
a good investment, because we did talk a little bit about the generators last week and how we still see the stories of people that die. But you talked about the front door. Can we just go in a little bit just about securing other areas, like your shed, for example?
Right.
You know, a good padlock, you know, I mean, if somebody's got a sledgehammer, that's one thing. But you still have to make the attempt. Like you said, they will look and say, nope, too secure, go to the next one. Just
Correct.
like they do with a car. They flip the handle to see if it's unlocked.
Right. They'll walk a line of cars popping handles.
Right.
And the idiot left his open, that's the one gets hit.
Right.
They're not interested in working real hard here.
A deterrent.
Folks. Right. They're not going to beat on my a shed door for 20 minutes just to get my locking mechanism off.
Right.
Which has a metal box over it. First, I got to beat the metal box off.
That's a great idea.
And you can buy them online.
Okay.
You know, your neighborhood fix-it guy, he can build you one.
Right.
And it's very simple. The steel container connexes, they are tough to get in.
Yes.
They have those boxes that you can put on those connexes.
Okay.
And, you know, I've worked construction for 40, 50 years, and sometimes there'll be somebody goes to a construction site because there's valuable stuff there.
Right.
And just start beating locks off these connex doors that are unprotected. You know, a couple good slams with a 10-pound sledgehammer, and that thing's popping. But the ones with the box over them, you can't beat that off.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too secure, it's too much effort, and they go to the next one.
Right.
Well, the same principle works for locks on your house, locks on your shed. You know, if you buy a $3 hasp and put on your shed, you're telling me that all the stuff in your shed's only worth $3.
Right.
I suggest that you look around and go, nah, I believe I'll buy that $40 box and a really good lock. So, and locks are not that hard to pick. Did you know that?
No.
With a little skill and practice, you can pop a master lock so fast.
Wow.
And they have the little tools that do it.
Sure.
Certain locks, like Medico, and the name should tell you where that was developed from the hospitals.
Right. Yeah, because they have to secure
Right.
drugs and such.
Well, it's not just the drugs. It's information. Information
True.
is valuable too.
Yeah.
So all the locks at hospitals are going to be Medico. Now they are expensive because you can't get a key made for a Medico lock. Did you know that? You can't take a Medico key down to your local hardware store and say duplicate this.
Right.
They will not do it.
Right.
So that's a good thing.
Sure.
So how much is your stuff worth?
Right.
How much do you need it protected? Well, maybe that building's got some real serious supplies in it that you must keep locked up. You know,
And
fuel being one of them.
Keep in mind, the replacement of what is stolen has been turned upside down, because if we're in that situation, there is no flow of commerce going like we understand it right now.
Yeah, it's not like just the electricity.
You're not calling
went down.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon, yeah. Anyway.
And we'll stop there.
Yeah. Glenn, you know, we've got so much ground to cover. I would love to, because we're at about 31 minutes here. I would love to go ahead and make a part 2 here. Are you open to that?
Sure.
Could we do that and pick up?
I mean, we started out as a pop quiz, and it ended up being, a midterm exam. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay. We'll break this up into 2 podcasts. So you want to make sure that you don't go anywhere and you stick around. Either listen to both of these guys 1, 2, or give it a week to breathe in between, and we'll come back and finish up. All right?
Sounds good.
If they have any questions about what we've talked so far, what's the best way to get a hold of you, Glenn?
Sustainable Living Made Easy. Just shoot me a message on that on Facebook. That seems to be the most common way to do it.
Okay.
Some of the other places have it out there too. So, I will try to get to every question that's ever asked.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll pick up on this next go around. All right.
Sure.
Join us again next week for Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz, helping you be prepared and not scared. This podcast drops every Friday anywhere you get your podcast.